Gordon Murray Automotive has just revealed the T.33 Spider, the convertible version of the T.33, which is GMA's kind of entry-level model. And today I'm going to be going over its design. I'm going to be showing you guys all the little details and what I think about this design right here. Just jump right into this design. Something that I want to immediately start off with this GMA T.33 Spider here is that this design is really, I would say, like, it's very simplistic, and it almost has like a retro sort of like classic feel to it when you look around this design. And I really think that has a lot of like ties with the fact that this is a very lightweight car. GMA focuses a lot with making the cars as light as possible, and the way that they really translate that into the design is through a simple classic retro look. I think that here we could see just like what I'm talking about with like simplicity here. We have this front face with this sort of grill that almost looks like a big mouth. It isn't particularly aggressive in the front, and that's not a bad thing. Not every car has to be super aggressive with super angular and crazy styling or anything like that. So in the front here, we have these headlights with these sort of 4 lights here. We can even see the front face a little bit better in this picture, where you can see the full shape of this sort of like mouth here with the grill. And you can see again the very simple lines here. You have this headlight shape that ties in very well with this line that goes up from the grill and it continues. And then you have this front fender here. I actually really like how this front fender is like quite exaggerated here. You should be able to see this in some of the other photos that I'm going to take a look at. But you'll be able to see how these front fenders and also the rear fenders are pretty like exaggerated, and they're separated with this kind of angle here, this bump with this line here. And I really like that approach because you could have had like a smooth front fender, or you could have had one that stands out a little bit less, but it builds that sportiness and it builds that sort of like athletic like agility that you're looking for in these sports cars. Now let's move on to the side profile, because here is where I want to talk about a couple of things about this car. Firstly, I want to talk about the proportions of this car in the side view, because here's where you can really see how this car shines, which is in these lines, these simple lines that you can have here, especially in the Spider. The next thing I really want to talk about here is really these sort of, I guess, rollover pieces. I guess you could call them buttresses, but they're not really buttresses because you kind of have them not go all the way down, really. They don't extend like they do on some other cars. But these pieces here, I think really the only reason I would say not to just entirely remove these is because you have this very cool feature, and I will highlight this even more when I get to the rear view, but you have this sort of like roof scoop up here, and I actually really like this feature. I think it allows the occupants of the car to be able to kind of hear the V12 with the air going through, and it's a very open air experience, as it should be, this being a Spider with a target top. If it weren't for this roof scoop right here, I would just say to entirely just remove these pieces. I think in some cases, you know, they're for safety, they're for aerodynamics, they're for structure in the car, I guess. But really, like I think you could maybe get away with just removing these entirely. And I would really love to see a car release now that doesn't have anything back here. And like I said, it's just more of like a classic shape. I guess with modern cars, you just can't really do it. And I guess that's okay. But definitely, I like that there is a roof scoop up here. It allows for a much more interesting, a much more enjoyable experience, I think, when you're driving this. You have this cut line here for like this rear part, and this goes out in the door, but if you follow it, you could kind of connect it to the top of the grille here. Now let's move to the rear view. So here in the rear view, something I want to talk about while here in the rear view is just like the continuous theme that you get with this car. And that theme, I mean, I've said it so many times throughout this video already. That theme is just the simple, classic nature of this design, and this theme goes all around the car. You have the same feeling in this design, and that is really good. Here you really just have this continuous package, and that's something that I can really appreciate about this design. More about the rear, you have this diffuser here, which I really like. It's pretty smooth. You have these two exhaust pipes designed for weight saving. Even the exhaust, everything is focused on keeping the car as light as possible. The last thing I really want to cover in the exterior of this car is this top view over here, where you have where would be the engine bay, where you have the V12 sitting in there. I just wanted to go over some of the features over here. Some of the features that you have in this area of the car, you have these panels that just kind of go over, and you have like a window in the rear. You have some louvers here in the rear to help with engine cooling. Really like these. I think it's a great way to kind of add something to what would be an otherwise very plain surface on the car. You have this active rear wing back here, and then you have the rest of these panels here. Now the last thing I want to talk about here is this interior, because this interior follows the same thing that I've been saying throughout this entire video, which is based on simplicity and minimalism. It is so crazy in this interior, in a world where everybody is putting massive screens on their cars. You just have this, again, multi-million-dollar super sports car, and you have these analog gauges, and you have these tactile features here. You have all these physical controls, a very driver-oriented interior, where you have this steering wheel here with the design that you have, same as other cars in this brand. And you have this interior that, like, if you look at the rest of the dashboard, there's like literally nothing here. It's crazy. And I think that is so cool that this interior is so driver oriented, and everything is focused on the main driver right here. And even though every manufacturer is trying to jam pack the cars with tech, I've said this before and I'll say it again, it is not the right way to go. Like, you don't need to put massive screens in the interiors to make a car look good, to make the functionality good. Like, physical controls work just fine. In fact, I think they work even better than having a massive touchscreen, not just for the aesthetics, but even for the functionality. You have this manual right here, which looks insane. Again, following the retro feeling here. And you have all these physical controls, unlike what most manufacturers are going with, these like digital interiors. Overall, great job on this interior. Even though it's so simple, it still feels very sporty, and it still feels like a super sports car, and that is really cool. You have this lightweight sports car, this great package all around this design, whether you're looking at it from the front and the rear. And that is what I think about the Gordon Murray Automotive T.33 Spider. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will appreciate it if you support my channel by liking the video and subscribing. I hope you enjoyed my review of this car right here. And if you like the content, again, be sure to support my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.